You made the heavens, planted the earth, gave us stars for direction. But what was it worth if we don't have love? Oh, your perfect love. You filled the oceans, painted the sky, gave us each other. So tell me why, why we're lacking love. Oh, why we're lacking love. Love. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Yeah, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, you can prophesy, speak in the tongues you made, but if you don't have compassion, how will they understand that we were made from love? Oh, we were made from love. Oh, yeah. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? My Lord, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Oh, can't you see the darkness trying to divide? Oh, you know it's up to us to keep shining bright and let our hearts stay lifted high. Time to spread more love. Oh, perfect love, supernatural love. Your love.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Spirituality Gone Wild. I am Debbie G. It is I'm back. Woo! I've been gone for a minute. I haven't been around, and we're doing Cuppa Grata just a minute late. Cuppa Grata with a shot of expression, and ready for it, 2 squirts of reality. And I have a phenomenal squirt today, a co-squirt. He's just, oh my God. Okay, so let me first tell you all. I've been gone because I was at the Veterans Village Kins community over in near Kingman, Arizona. Okay. Extraordinary experience with Bruce Perlwin and all of these wonderful warriors, these beautiful veterans that I got to meet. The experiences were so incredible. I can't even tell you. And one of the most remarkable for me was watching how that these gentlemen embrace each other and they help each other to bring out the inner king that's within them. So welcome to the stage, one of our kings, Hamilton Garces. Hello, Hamilton.
Hey, Debbie, how are you? It's great to be here.
I'm like stoked. I'm just stoked that you're here. I'm really excited because the work you do is extraordinary. You know, I am so grateful I got to meet you over in Arizona. What a joy. And now you're working with Christopher, you're working with my son, which is even like cooler to me. But beyond anything, it's the energy that you bring and the experiences that you had that brought you to this place that I really want to get into today. So I want other people to know that there's always hope and there's always another way to do something. So if what you're doing is not working, what this is going to be about is that we want you to see that there is another possibility, practices, things that we can get into. And that's what Hamilton's going to bring. Okay. From warrior to spiritual yoga warrior, spiritual warrior. I mean, you're just outstanding. So thank you. And your shirt's warrior. just warrior. Oh, God, just amazing. So Hamilton, welcome. Uh-oh.
Again, Debbie, thank you so much for being here. That was my first time going out west where I got to really explore a little more. A few years ago, I went out to Arizona and I bought that flute. I think I was telling you about that. I bought it out in Arizona, Sedona. And years later, something calls me back to Arizona, and here we are working with Veteran Vitality, Warriors for Life America, with Kay Marzola and Leland Holgate, which now we're all working together. And that's the reason why we got to meet, because of what I call my big brothers. Right. I'm the youngest guy on the team. I just turned 30 a few weeks ago on March 26th. Yeah. And I'm just grateful to be doing the work that we do. One thing that we shared that week was telling everybody, like, we're here to be of service, like, to humanity, right? Because we signed up to be of service for God country, and now we realize, like, it's so much bigger than that. It's about all humans, about all mankind. And, the people we're at today, whether it was using CBD to help me calm down more in my life, or using yoga, another healing modality to help me bring more presence into my life, right? Because what's happened to the veteran is that they're not present, right? They're literally throwing and wasting all their gifts away by just diluting their own peace, if that makes sense, right? We have done.
It makes sense to me, but let's talk. Let's go a little bit further. So you were in combat,
right?
And I think this is an important thing to talk about. So you went through extreme PTSD, because when you're talking about not being present, so we can help people understand what not being present means, because I didn't know what it meant until I knew what it meant. But so let's go through a little bit of your journey and talk about your discovery of what it was like to not be present and then be present.
So a lot of things that veterans deal with, especially those who got in combat, right? So I'll break it down like this. I was in the Marine Corps Infantry with 3rd Battalion, 6th Marines, India Company from 2010 to 14. And I only did 4 years. 4 years was enough for me. The rest of the guys on our team did a lot more than 4 years. But, doesn't matter what generation you went, combat is combat and war is war, and it's hell. And the thing is, it's a living hell for most of us, and some of us bring that hell back with us. Demons, the memories, even things that didn't even happen, but it's creating so much disruption in your own peace. So what I mean by not being present is that if you have gone through trauma, especially going through a traumatic experience such as combat, right, you're going to come back different. The energy in the body is left unbalanced, if you will. And we do everything in this country to get us prepared to go there. And I'm starting to see a little bit more to help bring in more awareness to veterans, especially other modalities besides just giving them the pills. And this is what I mean by being present, because most veterans, some guys would get prescriptions as soon as they come out of combat. Others just suck it in until they're just get out. And next thing you know, when they get out, they're finding out they have A, B, C, and D. And this is when things start changing for most lives. Like, most of us are on prescriptions between anywhere from 4 prescriptions to 8, if not almost 12 prescriptions. I know guys who have been on over 20 prescriptions. Wait till you have Kane on the show and he tells you about that.
But did you go through that too?
Right. So when I got out, they gave me a psych eval, and there's like, well, you have about mild PTSD. At first they called it separation disorder, or social disorder, like, right? And then it wasn't until a year or 2 years later, there's like, well, how long ago were you in combat? I was like, 2011. I was like, well, that's a long time ago. And, this is what PTSD is. I'm like, okay. I just, I'm a young guy. I'm like 23, 24 when I got out. And I'm just, society told me, suck it the fuck up. But other than that, it's when we got out that a year after I got out, I started getting different prescriptions. I remember getting trazodone to go to sleep, and that would give me horrible night terrors, where I would wake up at cold sweat at 2, 3 in the morning, and just have to take a cold shower and change my sheets. There's things that I know that was definitely not right of mixing up with so many pills, right? Because that's what the epidemic is. There's a lot of opioids and muscle relaxers, and then what do you want to call it? Concentrates such as Adderall. Like, they'll give that to a lot of veterans, and that's like probably the worst thing they need to be doing. So 2015, I actually gone through the whole year of being out of the military, and this is where the downfall starts going. It's all downhill after that. I I'm already drinking. I'm not doing so much of taking care of my. When it came to 2000, the end of 2015, now 2016 is just completely crashing. I'm in and out of school. I couldn't even keep myself focused in school. One time I remember being in a psychology class, and my professor saw me drink from my water bottle, and I went to go drink it, and I'm just pouring the water all over my shirt. And he's like, "Are you all right, son?" He's like, "The VA just put me on pills." He's like, "You think you need to go home?" And I'm like, I don't even know how I go home right now. He's like, "Do you know where the vet office is?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "All right." So I walked in there. Luckily, I have friends who know where my home is. I just wasn't there. And for a lot of our friends I've seen that I have to deal with, I understand that it's not just me, that a lot of people go through that presence, because the pills is the numbness from what? From the memories, from the suppression of memories from being there. A lot of people deal with survivor's guilt. Others deal with, they should have or they could have. Others just deal with the repetition of that memory and that pattern happening over again. And there's guys who are just constantly looking for things. I would find myself being that person in a restaurant or in a facility, making sure that I would sit against the wall and I would know where the doors are and the exits. Even though I'm not in that imminent danger, it's just hypervigilance is always there. That's keeping us distracted from our thoughts, from the present, even to be in love. There's a time of when I got the military, I didn't think I was going to have a successful relationship. I was actually, at 25 years old, I was having erectile dysfunction because of mood disorder from the pills they were giving me. Right. And when the VA looks at me, he's like, "But you're healthy as a horse." I was like, "Well, I don't feel like it. You're giving me these things, and I want to do the right thing." So at the end of the day, I kind of saw that the right thing was kind of just follow my heart. And that inspiration came through seeing Kane's message for hope, where I want to say in 2017, I saw him making the video talking about how veterans have gone through different healing modalities, being medical cannabis or sitting with plant medicines. And this is something that intrigued me because I understood that all the medical stuff I was doing wasn't working. Psoriasis was taking 80% of my body because of stress, right? Autoimmune disease or psychosomatic disease, right?
I'm loving this. I just want to stop for a second because I want everybody, if anybody has any questions, please put them into the chat. I want to just point something out. This is so important because Big Pharma, I almost went down with Big Pharma too. And I've never been at war. PTSD is a thing. Trauma is a thing. And when you start trying to mask it, I've never once seen a pill heal anyone. Not once. I've never seen it heal. I've seen it mask the shit out of things. I've seen it become an addictive thing. I've seen what it did in my own life. So I'm just resonating with you, just sitting here like, I'm so grateful that you saw Kane. I'm so grateful that you chose not to stay in the loop.
Right.
It's over getting feedback. Yeah, you didn't stay stuck in the loop. And if everybody who's listening can really grasp this, what he's saying is that this loop. Now, how can you, he's a vet. Okay, we get that. He went to, and thank you for your service. And he went to war for our country.
Afghanistan.
But here's what something that really important is that, do you understand, everybody, that if he can do this, we can all make changes in our life and do this. So this is such an important message that Hamilton is bringing forward today. And I really, really hope that if you have questions, you're going to put them in, and you really open with a listening, open your ears with active listening. And Greg Bales is here. Greg is here.
Hey, Greg. Love you, brother. Super
Love you, Greggy. Greg, come see me. Come on now, buddy. He's trying to wean himself off lithium right now. Rock on. And we've got another fellow Marine. We've got, he says Semper Fi. Semper Fi. Thank you for your, yeah, that's very cool. So, y'all, this is important stuff. So please put your questions in. Kirk Nermi, I love you too. You rock. Okay. So you saw Hamilton, you saw Kane, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. There's something about plant medicine. There's something about cannabis and all of that. So let's take a dive into that.
So why I love that I got to see Kane's video, and to most civilians, because that's we have titles, right? There are senior citizens, then there's civilians, and then we are the veterans. That's us of the community, right? So I know to a lot of people, Kane might seem like a lot, but the thing is, he means so well, and he's so compassionate about what he does. I see that about him. I see his complete unapologetic self, be his authentic self with no room to, because the thing is, when I saw that, I know that spirit, I carry that spirit, but I'm so dumbed down from war. And when I heard Kane's story, I thought I had been through some stuff, but Kane really inspired me to show, like, if that badass guy could do it, if that warrior could do it, he didn't go down that path, he's doing something different, right? Because many of my friends have taken this path of suicide. Alone from people who I serve with in the military, not just from my unit, is accumulating now up to 17 people who have committed suicide. And then there's probably 6 or 7 more who have been liver failure, organ failure because of the drinking and the pills, drunk driving, freak accidents in construction. God forbid that, like, I wish for some of them that had gone through those freak accidents, you know, some of us think it's better to have gone over there than to be over here with some random accident. God forbid, right? But at the end of the day, it's what we're doing is for those who aren't here anymore, right? Especially for those who have committed suicide. And the sense is that if I saw Kane deal with that, then I could deal with it. And what I understood was studying through plant medicines and understanding that there's something different here. From what I understood cannabis was for me, reefer madness. You know, I'm first generation American. My family's from Colombia. So they'd be like, don't do drugs. This is changing your mind. You know, a lot of what they were saying is what they were educated from. But when I started looking at the science and understanding that, right? Because in the military, we only understand facts. We only understand how to operate something from a formula. And if you show me that the science is making sense, then I can't deny that. I cannot deny that once I understood that the body has an endocannabinoid system, how can you now keep ignoring that? Why should we ignore the endocannabinoid system if we're not getting the nutrition to feed it? You know? Because I could talk a lot, but I'm going to say this real quick. Like, endocannabinoids are so important that when the child is feeding from the mother, they're getting antibiotics and endocannabinoids to help them deal with pain growth, the growing pains of your teeth, the growing pains of your bones. We need that nutrition. That's why when CBD got introduced to my body, I realized that this was the thing that I was missing. And when it goes to cannabis, I realized that I started smoking less and started using Rick Simpson oil, which transformed my whole life. Once I read the study that Rick Simpson put it on a tumor on his skin the next day and shrunk, I'm like, how are we ignoring this right now? If God created all, which I mean all, which is the plants and all, God did not create no laws, right? Laws was man-made, right? God created the planet. He didn't put those countries there. We made those countries. We made the ideas of borders and divisions and country lines. We created the separation and illusion. And the thing is, the natives have showed us and plenty other people that plants can heal. How can some people begin the gentle experience of plant medicines? Check out CBD. It's not going to get you high. It's not what people think it is. Do your research and check it out, because Veterans Vitality CBD was one of the things that changed my life. I had 80% of psoriasis over my body. The VA for 3 years had me going into UV lighting, creams, and then they tried to make me change my diet and nothing was helping. And it wasn't until I did 2 plant medicines in my diet. I started introducing CBD tincture and then CBD on the skin, because if I could eat it, why not slap it on me? And guess what? It helped out. So that's one of the things that started for that. And it wasn't until years later, I think 6 or 7 months later, I finally found an area where I could sit with plant medicine, such being ayahuasca. And for me, this is where I take my hat off and my armor off and the mask off, when I realized that I wasn't this big, tough person that I thought I was. And everything that I carried wasn't my pain. It wasn't my fault. It's just as easy as letting it go, as opening the door or letting the breeze come in. And it wasn't until those profound moments that I had, feeling like a towel slapped on the floor, right? Not moving, that I'm sitting there realizing how important it is to breathe. And the medicine showed me that, like, we are the medicine. So to speed that up forward a little bit, right? I know we're going to come back to a few things because I see you nodding. People ask me, how can you do this stuff with the sound bath? It's like, I feel like we're having a psychedelic experience, but without psychedelics. I was like, that's the medicine. The force, the Jedi force, the life force, the prana, the chi that surrounds you. Breath and sound will tap you deep into the quantum physics or the quantum reality of the biometrics of the body. The body understands frequency, it understands sound because of resonance. But how can we increase the cellular frequency, amplify your ATP, your ATP energy through breath work? So this is what I give to the world, because people can hear my story and be like, man, well, that's interesting. Well, I want to try cannabis and I want to try CBD. I want to try all those plant medicines. But like, my first recommendation to people is let's try yoga. Let's try yoga, let's try sound, and let's try breath work before the other things start opening, because we're people who've partied on everything. And you should see people's faces like, you're the yoga guy? What the hell we need yoga for? I don't need to do yoga. I was like, we've tried everything in the world, and y'all are too scared to try yoga and to breathe? All right. Next, you know, by the end of the class, the toughest guys from Baltimore and Delaware, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, they're just sitting like this, all calm and cool and collected. Because the thing is, energy is infectious, right? It's like if we start amplifying, the rest of the room starts to feel it. And it's really interesting to see how that works. And it's just bringing it down. Like, I take my hat off to Kane, because what he did probably inspired a lot of other people. And I'm sure that what we will share of us being all the executives and the company we work for is sharing our stories. You know, I dislocated my hip in combat. I hyperextended my PCL and tore my meniscus. And that day I almost died. I should have died. 2 other times I should have died in Afghanistan. And if it wasn't for that serious injury that I went through, I would not have gone through the recovery that I needed to go through, which was understand that the pills wasn't going to work for me. And later on, natural things like plant medicines such as CBD to begin with, right? And good diet, but keeping exercise. A lot of our people, men and women, are just stuck, especially COVID right now. We're staying stuck in the home, stuck in their bodies, stuck in their minds. We got to get out of the mind and into the body. So get outside and move and breathe and connect again.
And I love all of this, because it's just so, because this is what I'm hearing you say mostly, is that you have to integrate new practices.
Yes.
That's what I'm hearing. And that these are the practices that are working for you. But here's what I'm appreciating: the vulnerability that is present from you to Kane to Leland to now my son. The vulnerability of being human. The fact that you're sitting there going, now I'm not so tough. In fact, you know what? Now I see this all completely differently. The other night, we watched a premiere for something that's getting ready to come out worldwide. We're not going to talk about what that was, regarding using plant medicine and things like that. How did that hit you, knowing this work you're doing? Because we're going to be doing a very big conference with this whole thing, by the way. We just haven't talked about it yet. But dude, like, how did that hit? Wasn't that awesome?
All right, so we'll start like this. First of all, I'm just like, I don't even know what the word is, flabbergasted that I get to meet someone like you, and we're doing the work that we're doing, and we're expanding things like documentaries and other stuff. But like, ready for this? I met Kane for the first time of working with him for 3 years, just last year at Soul Quest. That's where we physically met in person. And when I was there, guess who happened to stroll in that day? The people who ran that thing, Zappy, and then the guy with the W name, Wallace or Wilson.
Oh, no kidding!
It was a guy. It was a guy who was talking to him, who was really short. Remember? Anyways, I met both of those guys that day. Darren, I think his name was Darren. Anyways, I met Zappy and Darren, and I'm like, holy cow! Here I am talking to Zappy. Every time I talk about plant medicine, I send your video, Reality of Truth, to everyone to watch. Because like, look, if you want to know what this is about, watch this. It's educational, and they hit all the bibliological things of many plant medicines in all religions. Because people don't understand. They're so blinded because the church has hidden that truth. So once I got to meet Zappy, I can't believe he gave me his card. He's like, we're going to meet again. We're going to talk. Now, here we are watching this and understanding that when I met Zappy, I started crying to him. Because you're asking me, how do I feel about that documentary? It makes me want to cry. It makes me think about when I met Zappy, I wanted to cry. And I did cry in front of him. And he asked me, what's going on? You know, what do you tell me? I was like, it makes me so happy to see people who give a fuck, who actually care. Because the VA is handing us the loaded gun and we're just washing their mouth off with the 9mm. And here you are giving people the idea, if before you even meet the plant medicines, because the idea is, why does ketamine treatments work, right? In 150 controlled facilities in America, why is it working? Whether it's 3 to 5 sessions, the equivalency of receiving those sessions within the week is cutting your recovery time of rehab from 6 weeks to 4 weeks to just less. And if that could be the thing that clean their slate and make them feel fresh again, then beautiful. If there's still more integrated work to do, as we saw in that documentary, then the other grandfather pet medicines or grandparent medicines come through, right? The more senior, stronger stuff. But remember, maybe everything isn't for everyone. Maybe 2 or 3 treatments of that ketamine might be it. So why it makes me cry is because I have had to deal with friends, not that just committed suicide. One of my friends that I carry with me all the time is Kenneth Williams. Kenneth Williams died at 27 years old. Not because of suicide. No, he tried to take guns away from him because his father was too scared to deal with angry pit bull in the basement, which was Willie. One day we had to go in there, and 5 of us Marines had to hold him down and take the knives and the guns away from him. And we put him in rehab. Not twice, 3 times. The 4th time he comes out of rehab now, he went out to someplace out west. And he says, Ham, you know, I'm trying everything. I've been to the best places. I've been to Walter Reed. I've been to all the places you can imagine, all the good places, like John Hopkins Hospital, Walter Reed. He went out West Coast for some whatever. So, anyways, he died out down at Walter Reed. His liver broke the record. His liver was in not just 3 figures; it was in the 4 figures. Your liver is supposed to be in 2 figures. He doubled that. Why? Suicide from friends in the Marines. His mother committed suicide. The pills that he kept abusing. And it wasn't until at the end of his days where he said, Hamilton, I need your help. Whatever you're doing, whatever you have done, whatever you did to clean yourself up, I see it. I feel it. You speak differently. You walk differently. You don't drink anymore. You quit cigarettes. You know, you don't go out like you used to anymore. Like whatever you're doing, I need help. Imagine how much ayahuasca has changed me that even my mother, who first thought that this was demonic, we're from Colombia. And we know that shamans can be witch doctors or good people. But we, in our culture, we try to stay away from any of that magical stuff, right? We were raised Catholics. It goes figure that there is truth to that. There are people who died, but I met the right ones. And when I met the right ones, my mom saw the difference in me. And she even felt inspired to go receive medicine. She sat with me once to tell Kenneth Williams, she said, look at him. Trust that you should go with him and drink ayahuasca. I would never think that my mother would say that. Because when I tell her what the experiences are like, she's like, I don't know. But what the transformation and the integration is like, that's the transformation, right? Obviously, the thing of the session when you're healing isn't entertaining, isn't pleasurable, but it's how you feel after. So when they were seeing that, it made me so happy that my mom said that. I left crying that night. But the thing that sucked is when Willie told me, he said, I'm in the hospital. My liver is this much and my kidneys are failing. They said I have 6 months to live. Those 6 months became 6 days. And I remember Willie as a 27-year-old kid now. I'm 30. He didn't have no kids. And it's tough to just kind of deal with that. You know, that's that one kind of hit hard for me. And why we're trying to, where I'm tying into is that these ketamine treatments would have been the thing to help this person out. Because we tried everything. We tried interventions. We tried to clean them up. Maybe we just needed to bring that horse down to that place and just give him the treatment. Maybe that would have been it. Maybe. But the thing is, I'm happy to know that this is available now. Because the things I know now, the treatments and the people who I'm connected to now and the services and the retreats, I had none of these resources years ago. So the fact that now we could get veterans flown out to certain places or pay for their treatments to get taken care of is phenomenal. Now, how can we see the VA start integrating things like this in the next 20 or 30 years? Who knows how long it's going to take, but it doesn't surprise me that you know, big farm doesn't see as something profitable. I always go to the metaphor of it's like the mechanic. You're always going to keep coming back for something. It's like, I thought you fixed this wheel bearing. It's like it's still doing the thing.
If what you're doing is not working, for God's sakes, change it. I want to say that we do actually have an answer for anybody who's in extreme need. And that remember Chelsea and Brianna?
Okay.
They were over in the vendor's dome.
Yeah, the girls who had the puppy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that one. Well, their parents own Advanced Therapeutic Services and take TRICARE. And
you're right.
Jim's done ayahuasca. The owner. They do conscious recovery. They work with mental health. They do telehealth and everything else, and they work with that. So I'm going to bring this up because you guys don't suffer in silence, because ATS seriously is one of the best around. Christopher started there almost a year and a half ago. So, wow. You know, there are answers and solutions. Now, that's recovery based, like that, to get you going, but there's also you could reach out to Hamilton. You can reach out to anybody that we're bringing up, like Leland from Warriors of Life America. There's Spiro Alexio. There's different people that we know who can actually help you to get started on this journey. If you're really needing some, like you're really drinking a lot, you're using a lot, or whatever the case may be, it's safer to go with recovery when you're like, if you're a heroin addict, you know?
Exactly.
So that's usually a really good thing. But the reason I brought that up is because we're all about solutions. It's one thing to talk about, and this is what I love about you and all of the guys. It's one thing to talk about the things that we've been through and this and that's, another to provide solutions. And this is what this is all about. I mean, isn't the universe cool, dude? That like you met Zappy at Soul Fest and now you were just in that premiere.
Right.
It was so cool, and I'm loving this. I want to get a little bit into your actual yoga, the CBD, the Vitality CBD that you have, and talk about what it is that you do specifically for those out there who might be interested in working with Hamilton directly. And let's just spend this next, 20 minutes or so talking about the work you do. We know how you got there and all that, and let's talk about that. I think people need to know.
All right. Well, let's first start with we kind of already went to the story why I started doing yoga. Dislocated my hip, 2011. I was going to sports rehab, realizing they're teaching me basically yoga. And years later, I'm still going to therapy, dealing with pain. And it wasn't until I started. What switches from PT to yoga is consciousness and human intention. The intention of the human heart and consciousness. Because when you're in PT, you're just doing what the doctor tells you. But when you sit in a yoga class, you're really listening to the body and intuitively paying attention more. And so when I was sitting in there, that's when I started doing yoga. I started learning about the mindfulness, and I went to Integral Yoga Institution. If anyone knows what that is, it's a lineage started from Swami Satchidananda. They call him the Woodstock Guru. And so that's where I started, was with that yoga. I did most of that training. So now to go into where we're at now, I'm a yoga teacher. I practice pranayama or breathwork, as well as doing meditations. I am a Reiki practitioner, but the thing that's basically bringing in, I don't want to say the money maker, but it's what's taking care of stuff is the sound healing, right? I found what my niche is bringing all these different integrated parts together and giving what I call, we're still working on the name. It's called Sound, Breath, and Yoga for now. And the idea is just simple, sound, breath, and yoga. This is what we're doing. We're getting involved with some sounds, right? I use the crystal singing bowls. And the idea behind resonance and harmonics is that frequencies can be received to the body. Where do we see that in science? MRIs is one way. You can hit frequencies to send certain maps of the image of the body and send it back. Another place we see frequencies being used in a healing sense is one of the 4 methods of removing kidney stones from the body is putting people in a tank of water and using sonic sound to blast the kidney stones so they dissolve and pass easier. And I'm a believer of sound, right? Especially veterans, they don't like light sounds, but there was something beautiful about certain healing frequencies that started making me get into a certain state. So what are we doing is, I kind of break it down like this. It's like Jedi mind work. Right, we are influencing now the body with the harmonious sounds of the universe. Most of the instruments I use are 432 hertz, which in quantum physics says this vibration of the universe 432 hertz.
Can you explain can you explain the Savaggio scale to everybody so they understand what the 432 is and why it's important?
So the importance of that is because, like she said, I always suck at pronouncing the word Savaggio, right? That golden ring.
Is it Solfeggio or Solfaggio?
Solfaggio. That's the word. But it's also in the shortest terms, it's the golden ratio. So the golden ratio.
I love that.
Yeah. So the golden ratio, right? When you break that all down, it's like it's involved from the fingertip to this, to that, to everything in the body is perfectly geometrically perfect. From the plants, showing the geometric perfectness or the golden ratio. The pyramids were built on the golden ratio. What is this idea that no matter where in the existence on the planet you've gone, the ancient beings of ancient civilizations understood the golden ratio, and that math, God's language, is math. right? So this is why when we understand numbers now as an adult, I'm really picking up math better now, especially when it comes to geometric, sacred geometry, understanding why these shapes and these symbols are important. And we'll get into that further. But Christians and Catholics say Amen. Muslims say Amin, two E's. What's more ancient than Islam? Buddhists, and they say Aum, A-U-M. So see, A and M is still there. Now the vowels in the center change from E's to U. Aum, Amen, Amin, Aum. Breaking that out more. Om, O-M. Now, how do you break that down even more? I always hit people with this. If you never uttered the healing sacraments of those words, every human says this. Where did I park my car? Eureka, now I remember. Vibration. Everybody does it and they're unconscious about it. It's spirits always talking and they don't pay attention. But now we got that going. This is what I work with is sound, vibration, sound, breath, and yoga. So we combine all those things and together, and we're basically rejuvenating the body to the cellular level. How? If you were to put water in a singing bowl and make it turn, you see geometric shapes start to create something called cymatics. And what's literally happening is that you're now creating structured water. Dr. Emoto from Japan made that study. Debbie knows what I'm talking about.
I'm getting all excited. Hell yeah!
How,
yeah, right? Oh yeah, go.
It's amazing because if he was able to show us that water can change its patterns and frequencies, why can't we change our patterns and frequencies? If you keep thinking I'm a POS and I'm this and that, or you're gonna go the rest of your life believing that until you change that thought of thinking or the pattern. How can we influence that? Breathing, yoga, or most importantly, sound would change everything. A didgeridoo over a person's body would really change things. The didgeridoo is really deep. Or the throat singing. Harmonics is one of the most impressive things in the world because you have to be in the room to feel it. And when you can feel the vibration of throat singing or didgeridoos or certain heavy things like the C note, which is the lower chakra, that starts slowing things down in the mind. So now we're going beyond just doing stretchy, feeling good. We're releasing endorphins. We're decreasing cortisol, increasing oxytocin, happy body, homeostasis. You reach REM cycle. Theta and delta brainwaves will start emanating from the brain because we're slowing things down. When you're awake and active, we're in beta. So we're thinking, constantly alert, right? If we're in the sympathetic system, activated. So we activate the parasympathetic to release, digest, and let go, to rest. So that's kind of the modalities of what we do. Now, I don't do it all of that all the time. It's customizable, right? It's kind of like personal training for what you need. You need more breath work and stuff. That's great. Sound isn't for you. That's fine. Let's do this other stuff. But there's many modalities of things that we do. You know, one of the biggest things I do, especially with my veterans, I was like, all right, you ready to unfuck yourself? We're going to take a cold shower. We're going to take a cold bath. It's like, what? I was like, cold bath, ice bath. It's like, no, man, I don't know. I was like, so you're tough enough to carry machine guns into combat and throw grenades over walls and scale things and drag people out of burning tanks, but you're too scared to get in the tank of ice? A tank of ice will really show you how much capability you have to maintain your mind calm under stress. Because as soon as you go in, the body's going to go, and that's it. That's panic. You keep that going, you're going to start getting a sympathetic energy. If you keep the nose and letting it go, you can't stop the body from doing the magical things that it's about to do. So what we're doing is showing people how to become the truest alchemist in their life, to change the chemistry at will. Because before we were surviving, now we're thriving on energy, on the chi, on the life force that surrounds us.
Oh, that's just fabulous in every iota. Now, so a lot of this, okay, so the breathing work you do, it sounds like you're incorporating a lot of Wim Hof.
No, I mean, what I was showing was yeah, it is Wim Hof with the ice exposure, but I preferably, especially in a lot of the training that I have done, I personally believe more in nasal breathing. Now, I don't have nothing wrong with doing mouth breathing. I would like to keep the mouth breathing to maybe 20, if not 30%. I like to do nasal breathing a lot more, different modalities, right? You got two nostrils, all right? Breathe both ways, and then alternating nostril breathing. You can't do that with the mouth. See, the thing is, your nose is a filter. It purifies the air coming in because of the hair follicles in here. catching any allergens or dust or pollen, right? That's why we need to clean and clear the sinuses through neti pots. If you do this for a few minutes, you will clear the sinuses. If you practice more breathing, you increase oxygen by 20%. See, the mouth can't do. So when you start understanding the science of why nasal breathing is a little more better, it starts to make more sense. Now, I like working with veterans, especially they get turned on to the Wim Hof because they like that sympathetic energy. But there's also a quicker way to get that. I teach a method called Kabbalabhati, or bellows breath, or breath of fire, which if you do 60 seconds of that, you're gonna feel just like what that Wim Hof thing is. It's just
Can
sometimes
we do it?
What?
Can we all do it? Y'all want to do it? We want to do it.
Yeah, so let's do a quick little I'll do a quick demonstration, right? So playfulness, right? Yoga is about playfulness, right? To take yourself not too serious, but to take it easy on yourself, right? So what we're gonna do first is imagine we're gonna relax. I'll relax my eyes, right? So imagine I relax my jaw. Think about the sound that a dog makes when they're just breathing, right? They're just going. And if I was to speed that up, it would sound like this. Snap, snap, snap. Now I seal the lips and the exhalation through the nose. So I inhale. Once you start doing that, at least 6 or 7 times, you start feeling the lymphatic system give that little whoosh of heat over. Because what you're doing is the exhalation and the pull of your belly back to the spine is pumping the kidneys. Naturally, the kidneys are sitting on top of the adrenal caps. And what that starts to do is cleanse and right? So we can let's do 3, let's do 6, and then we'll do 9, just to begin to keep it nice and easy. Because if you're new to it, you're gonna be like, well, I don't know, I got really lightheaded on that. Well, it's a lot quicker and faster than Wim Hof. So just sit up straight or use the support of a chair or a pillow behind you, and preferably you want to be sitting or maybe lay down on your couch. We're just gonna go ahead and inhale into the belly, fill up the belly. No, the lips are sealed. Exhale through the nose. Inhale, exhale. One more inhale, exhale. And you might start noticing through that, you might get a lot of saliva in the mouth. Breathwork starts to remove toxins from the body. You're clearing the thyroid and the sinuses of any excess mucus. Mucus is good, but excess is not good. Second round, 6 breaths. We're going to do it a little bit quicker, so we're going to create a more snap, and it's going to be an automatic inhalation through the nose. So fill up the belly. Snap. Inhale. 3 more. Inhale all the way up. Belly, ribs, upper chest, even the head, letting go. Now, right there and now, you might start feeling a little sweat, maybe a little flow of heat or coolness moving to the back of your shoulders. The epinephrine in the body is starting to get released. Right now, I'm starting to feel all the sweat on the top of my body getting moving. So now we're going to do the last round, 9 breaths. And if you notice, we did 3, 6, 9. And I'll tell you why I follow those numbers. So 9 breaths. Now I want you to go on your own rhythm and follow your flow now. Maybe it's slow like this. Or maybe it's a little quicker. Or maybe it's a little faster. Find what works for you. Let's breathe it in. And begin. Speed it up. 3, 2, 1. Exhale all the air. Inhale up through the spine. Let it go, like seeping the air out of a balloon. Return the breath to normal. Rub the fingertips, wiggle the toes, then relax the hands. Observing the 70,000 nerves in the hands and feet that are connecting pathways. Recharging the cells in the body with electricity and energy, nutrients. Feeling energized yet calm. Om, peace, peace, peace be to all beings. Blessings to all for sharing the breath and sharing energy. Thank you all for being here for today, for receiving some of that your own medicine. If you're interested about going a little further with that, I always like to start 3, 6, and 9. Nikolai Tesla said, if you wish to understand the keys to the universe, understand sound, vibration, and frequency. But he always hits on 3, 6, and 9. Now, ready for this? Long story short, my Marines, 3-6. My phone number for the past 7 years has had 3-6 at the end of it. Weird how those numbers want to start talking to you, right? Or the angel numbers start coming through. So that's something interesting.
That was seriously so much fun. Okay, so Joe says he's tingling. I'm definitely, I'm definitely feeling it. Greg and Matthew, your Ranger brother, is watching.
Yeah, our Matt is you know Matt. Matt is the guy on our team who's the youngest Ranger in U.S. history.
Matt, hey.
That's Matt. That's that. I think
Okay,
that's what he's saying. Your Ranger
Matt.
brother. Yeah. So Matt was that's our guy Matt. He's awesome. Also check out his company Primal Apex. Awesome company. It's a veteran company, and you see all the cool Ranger symbols on it. We have Joe talking about tingling. So this is what I'm talking about. This is the water in the body bubbling or steaming off the stress that no longer serves you, releasing the oxidated stress, releasing the nitrogen, releasing the carbon dioxide, right? Releasing all what no longer serves you. If it doesn't feed you, it's suffocating the body. So this is why we feel the tingling, why we have cooked the dirt. We put the stuff to the top and we blow it off. And I'll leave you with this. It has been shown that 70% of toxins are released through your breathing. So for some of us, especially my veterans, how many of times you guys had to sober up real quick and be the dad in the whole drunken situation, and you just, all right, we're going to take care of this, right? And somehow you're just like, I literally feel sober. Breathing will detox the body. Forget about how many morning hangover pills you could take or this and that. Breathing will change your life. Breathing will help clean the body, detox the body, but most importantly, clean it out. The other 30% is through using the restroom, sweat, or obviously purging. So that just gives us room to understand that if the breath is so important when we're born, we're screaming for life, we're asking, we need to breathe. And if it's so important at the end of our life, we're asking for just one more moment, one more breath with my family. Why do we not bring that importance of that value of breathing now and every day, in every step, and every breath? That's trademark Hamilton, so don't take that, y'all.
That is like trademark Hamilton. Y'all heard it here, right here on Spirituality Gone Wild.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm loving this because the biohacks are definitely, the first thing is your breath. And I love that it's the first thing we take, it's the last thing we take. Y'all, hello, key, life force. You've said it, it rocks. So the other thing is water. Now we talked about structured water, and structured water is actually really important. And I was taught by Melanie Proctor, who owns Phuket Cleanse in Thailand, to you take water out and you let it structure from the sun, and you freeze it and you drink that water because it's been structured for sun. Or you drink the water and you sit in the sun for about a half an hour to re-energize your body. So exactly. I already know that you know a lot about water, so talk to us about that. Besides sitting and freezing our asses off and freezing.
Right, and that's something else, right? Because water could be. I mean, that's water healing us, right? I mean, how amazing is it that we can get in water and we can help heal pain, relieve inflammation, and that's the cold sense. But what is it? The idea of the structured water, right? It's just showing that like the water will literally hold its memory, and y'all parents know what I'm talking about. If you watch Frozen 2, water has memory, right? And if we can only influence the water to clean that memory, right? Like if we're swiping the cookies or cleaning our browsing history, we create better connections. And in the sense that the body's 80% water, the planet is 80% water, but less than 12% of the ocean has been discovered. Less than 12% of the brain has been discovered. How much of the brain is water? How much of water is flowing with us and through us? We are breathing in molecules of water, even in the air. So water is life. And some people might think it's such a cliche word because of the new movement of that. But the thing is it is the truth. It doesn't matter how cheesy some people think it is. You know, come tell the veterans that we think water is not life. Because you know what kept us alive in damn combat? Water. You know what I asked for when I was dehydrated, suffering from heat exhaustion? Water. You know what you would give to people
Was it
that would
Gatorade?
take? Huh?
I said what? It wasn't Gatorade?
No, you don't want to drink
No.
Gatorade. Too much sugar, salt. But
Seriously though, but I mean
that's
water.
it. Though. Water is life. Water is life. Because I mean, think about it. It was showing. It's like you know, you could go X-rays without food, but the thing is, your body will start sucking up the water out of you. That's the first thing that you notice. So imagine this: like, how much is water important to us that we have to keep every being, every body has a certain level they have to maintain, right? So if you have four animals, a human, a cow, a donkey, and a camel, the human will be the first one to go down because its water is going to be the first thing is going to suck it out. Then the cow goes down. Then the donkey. And then the camel just keeps going because it retains so much water in its body, and it also uses its fat. So it's so interesting to see just how every animal has a certain relationship with that water. So and again, it's just going back to when you do sound baths, I tell people stay hydrated. When you go home, meditate, pray to your water, bless that water. Water is sacred, and we're not going to realize that, especially for us who don't think that it's important, until the day that, God forbid, like we run out of water. I know that doesn't seem feasible for some of us to think about that, but we've seen these end of the world movies where there's like, you know, no water. My perfect example is always Tank Girl. Like, can you really imagine a world where there's no water? Like the movie Tank Girl just made me really believe, like, God, how can that ever happen? How can we pollute and poison the rivers and just get rid of it all? You know, what I think we need to do and realize is that we need to protect the water. You know, because if we carry it in us, it's part of the oceans, part of the seas, the lakes. Every being needs it. Every animal needs it. Don't matter how much you hate people being in prison, even those people need water. And that's something that every being, every creature needs.
That's beautiful. And so what I've heard you say is to respect it and to bless the water that you're drinking. And he is correct, you all. Look up the science and the research done by Dr. Emoto. You will see that this is true. And we have Kane, Camping Warriors for America.
Sorry, phone's connected. So we got Kane saying champion, Warriors for Life America. So that's our president speaking. Ladies and gentlemen, that's your president, Kane Marzotto, speaking. And yeah, you don't want to catch that guy in the dark alleyway. He's a UFC guy. Big gorilla spirit. But he's amazing. He's amazing. Go ahead, Debbie.
I was agreeing with you. Go ahead. He's an amazing.
Yeah, Kane's an awesome guy, and he's probably one of the guys that inspired me towards the path of healing. Because I'm telling you, the average person would look at this guy and be like, I don't know, man. But the thing is, that mean, badass looking mother right there is one of the biggest hearted people you've ever met. He'd probably put his own life on the line for you. And he'll probably take the shirt off his back and give you the shoes that you need to walk so you can make it home. Because we're the type of people to make sure other people come home. And, you know, Kane's one of those guys that he has a really big heart. And I love him. I love him because when he tells his stories, you can really see in his heart that he wishes he could have saved everybody and brought them home. But at least he could carry their spirits with him and share and remember their names, because that's how we echo our brothers' names through existence, is that way, carrying their names and never forgetting.
Wow, that was beautiful. And Kane, from what I've met of you so far, and you all will be meeting Kane because he will be coming on live with me. We will also be doing a live panel with all of these gentlemen in one place. So get ready for that. I've seen many different parts of Kane.
What was that?
I've seen many parts of Kane. He is great.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my God.
Up in the car, huh?
Yeah, up in the car. My first experience, Kane comes walking up. Y'all gotta just know. To me, there's nothing scary about Kane. He is the sweet. He's like pure sweet. He's like a walking heart. He's so beautiful and he's so funny. You guys are fun, and that's another thing. We have so much play and there's so much fun. But he comes walking up with this like faux fur jacket with a hat on, and I'm like, oh man! By the end of tonight, I'm gonna be wearing that. I'm telling you, because I love this thing. next thing I know, he's sitting we're in a Jeep, and he's in the open space up on top, and the roof is open. And I look up, and there's the coat I'm definitely wearing the coat because it's coming through, and so is his booty. So I'm poking it. We have great pictures. He's got the ones from on top, and I've got the ones from the view at the bottom. It was great. That's Kane. Kane is, he's so much fun.
Yeah.
And hi, Miranda, we love you.
And I think I want to just tie something into again about what I do, right?
Yeah.
We were talking about all that yoga and that, and we also got to understand that when I work with people, I always start the conversation, about starting with CBD, because like, again, it's like we sound like we're preaching about it, but the thing is, it's the one thing the whole country, if not the planet, is ignoring to create nutrients in the body. Like we're willing to get blue horse crab blood to use it for other methods to clean and help people with other ways. Yet this damn plant that's been here since the 1700s, right? Like all the founding fathers were like forced to grow hemp. Like everyone was growing. The Declaration of Independence is made of hemp. So what I'm trying to say is like, forget the stories we learned about hemp and see how it can start helping you in your life. Start applying it on your skin. You don't have to ingest it. See how it could just help the skin or inflammation or the Bane Balm. That's the stuff. We have so many things that can help out because there is daily practice and then there's daily maintenance and upkeep, and that's where the supplements and nutrition comes in the hand. So that's something I always love to share. And I guess I'll leave it for anyone else. If you haven't checked out where to follow me, you can check me out on Instagram at mindful1lwarrior_hammy. And you can check me out on, feel free to reach out at Hamilton Garces, just as it's written right there, GARCES, yoga@gmail.com. And I personally will answer you and share some love and some information with you guys. So awesome.
I love this. I'm putting, so scrolling across the screen is veteransvitality.com.
Yep.
And I also want to go ahead. I'm going to put his Instagram up really quick so you all will have that. So if you're watching the replay or right now and you want to follow him on Instagram, just go to mindfulwarrior_hammy.
Yeah. And just so no one forgets, you get 25% off using my code. And it's HAMI11. So when you write it, it doesn't matter if it's all caps or lowercase. Hammy, HAMI 11. You get 25% off. And that just helps me out with what I do of the many hats I wear. Whether it's doing working with CBD cells and doing wholesale or doing I work at rehab on Fridays. I do 6 or 8 sound baths a month. So, I'm always trying to keep busy. And if you live in Maryland, anyone's out here, I'm in the Eastern Shore area. I'm located in Cambridge, and can check us out. We have a lot of cool things going on with working on farms and volunteering work. So if you want to get to know me personally, come through and volunteer, and let's go outside and, plant some pick rosemary and get these free herbs that we have going on. Where we could talk more about how plants like rosemary and oregano help tremendously with PTSD. The oregano oil and oregano oil and rosemary oil help make things in the synaptic nerves connect because we have 5 senses. Well, we do have 5 senses. It's technically 7. We're not going to get into that, but 5, right? Smell. When we can smell oregano oil and rosemary, it helps the person with PTS, right? Okay. Post-traumatic stress, right? Forget the disorder. The whole life is a disorder, right? But the stress is there. I'm telling you, start growing oregano and rosemary and just smack those bushes in the morning, smell them. It's going to change your life. These are the things that I keep finding out, that plants are so amazing. Like just smelling them, eating them, putting them in your food, it's going to start changing the symptoms and the moods that you go through in life.
I love it. Okay, so everybody, make sure that you go to veteransvitality.com and support all the work that Hamilton has been doing and bringing forward in this world. Stay tuned for lots of great stuff. The Warriors for Life America will be starting their own show here on Spirituality Gone Wild. And as well, we're going to have a panel. We have a lot of great things coming up. You all know it. And love you. Remember, who are you grateful for? Think about that today and make that your intention and focus to go forward in service and know and ask who can you be of service to in gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Last thing I'll leave with this. If you guys are interested in meeting us and the whole crew and the team of all the warriors, check us out at One Love Fest. We're gonna be at Dolan Springs, which is the location of Veterans Kings Community Village. And just I'm sure Debbie's gonna share about it later on. Reach out, get your tickets. There's plenty of camping sites. RV, your tent. Bring your friend, bring your family. If you know a veteran, you better drag their ass out of there. I don't care. You gotta duct tape them and bring them out there. Once you get them, you bring them to us, and we'll deal with them.
I love it. I love it. Kane, I love you too. Oh my God.
Big hug, bro. Love you, Kane.
I love you, Hamilton. Thank you so much. You are a rock star.
Awesome.
I love you guys so much, and it is such a pleasure and honor to be hanging out with you and learn all of these things. And also to hear the confirmations of other things. And the way you put things is quite eloquent. And I love this. And here's what I got to say. If you guys need to really do something different in your life, I say book a session. Book a session and see where you can go. Discovery session and see if this is the path for you. You know, virtual sessions are possible. So remember that.
Absolutely.
All right. We love you guys. Take
care.
Easy. Be peaceful, man.
Take care, everyone. Much love. Take it easy day by day, step by